welcome back to Ascending with Ashley. I'm Ashley. This is Awake, Bake, and Make, and we're going to talk about mutual aid or ways that we can support our communities if we have the ability to. So I'm seeing a ton of stuff on TikTok about people giving different snacks and food items for Halloween trick-or-treating versus just candy. And I haven't been having the mutual aid out in the alley for the high schoolers, but they do know that they can knock on the door. I am trying to preserve it because last semester or in the spring, a lot of kids were taking more and they were doing nefarious things with stuff. So I've put a little bit of control on that. But with Halloween coming up, I think Wednesday, Thursday, and then for trick-or-treating, I'm going to have all of the mutual aid stuff that I have out available. And I want to talk to you about other things that we can do. I'm not going to do a big food item this week because I think there's going to be more of a need for that in the coming weeks. So I would like to hold off. So I'm thinking about maybe doing like the chips that I have for the shop, for the Niles Candy Shop, but I don't know. We'll see. I do have these slap bracelets, which obviously you can't eat, but they are all Halloween themed, so I'm going to have these out this week. And I wanted to talk about some of the things that you can do to support your community if you haven't already. Tampons and pads are really expensive, so because there's not going to be EBT for folks, if you can buy a couple, I bought these in spring and I have them out for the kids, but they don't need them or they haven't used them. I've got a couple bags of pads, but like I said, I bought this shit in spring and I still have all of it, right? But that's just an idea. Condoms is another great idea. Where did I put those condoms? Where did I put that stuff? Oh, let me show you. Hang on. In here. Well, yeah. Condoms or other things like Plan B, if you have the ability to get that stuff, even if you have the ability to get, I don't know anything about hormones for trans folks, but I know that those are things that are not available for people. And sometimes people, like nonprofits and stuff, give that stuff away. But I'm thinking about ways that I can create little packets, because a lot of the high schoolers have younger siblings. So I'm thinking I'm going to get some oatmeal packets. And I'm thinking I'm going to get a bunch of Ziplocs so that I can divvy stuff up like pancake mix or rice. Or even the, those mashed potato packets. All of that stuff is more than $1 now, but again, if you have some extra money, canned items as well. Right now there's one of the churches is giving out big food boxes today until supplies are gone. I was thinking about going and getting stuff, but I'm not going to. I'm going to leave that for families who actually need it. But I was going to get it with the intention of sharing it, but I don't need to do that. Families can just go do that themselves, right? So this community is coming together, which is good to see. I have a tendency to put a lot of weight on my shoulders when I really don't have the ability to. We don't really like these cups, and so I feel like, I don't know, baby daddy bought this shit while he was here or what. But I have some of these. And then I'm thinking, I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, so if I were to give pancake mix and rice and, this stuff, all of that would need water. So I'm thinking about giving like a couple bottles of water. You can buy some packs of water and give a couple bottles so that they have everything they need to go home and make it, right? I don't know. That's just me. Maybe even some of those like little juice packets. I don't think I'm going to do that, but I'm just mentioning it for others, like the Crystal Lights, or I don't know, they probably have a ton of that shit. I don't use that at all. But I am figuring out how I want to do this. I'm going to talk to the kiddos this week and see. I've been talking to them though. Last week, one of them told me that they just don't have any extra money and that they have to watch their sibling and stuff. And it's just like, if we can get I don't know. It's a very poor community, and so I want to do what I can, but without putting myself in Nile in any. But I already did a pretty big stock up for me in Nile, but I think that what we need to really realize is I don't think a lot of people are prepared for EBT to never come back. And I think that's the reality of the situation. I don't think it's going to come back. And I think people think this is just going to be, momentary. But I truly don't think that EBT will be coming back. This is strategic, obviously. There's a few things happening. This administration wants to create violence through, taking away food so that they can put martial law in order. However, I don't think that they would necessarily need to starve people in order to do that. But I think they are hoping for violence. I think they are hoping for theft. I think they're hoping to be able to feed the prison industrial complex through this, meaning, arrest people as it goes. I've seen that some of the greeters at some of the Walmarts are going to turn into police. I've seen that some Walmarts are going to be closing their doors on November 1st and only letting people order online. I don't go into the local grocery store anymore, so I have no idea what's going on there. I know I told one of the people who was bringing, because I just do grocery pickup, so when they brought my groceries out last week, I mentioned to them that this was happening, and they said they didn't know, but that there were like signs all over the store about WIC being taken. We got a bag of apples today because now I was obsessed with produce, and it was like, what, $5 for just a few apples. I mean, everything is so crazy expensive, but thinking about the ways that we can support each other through this. I've seen a lot of people just get some plastic totes and put them at the end of their driveways or something, to create like a little food pantry. And I think that these are all really great ideas and things to do. But I think that we need to be preparing for the long haul on this, and I think that's the main point of this, is that everyone, I think, is doing these things with the intention of, doing it once, giving themselves a pat on the back, and then being like, well, I helped. But first of all, food benefits haven't even been taken yet. It's not until this weekend, right, that people will not be getting their EBT. I think that this country needs to be, like, the people of this country, the citizens, we need to be very realistic about children starving. So I have some other stuff I'm thinking about pantry wise. Get like, you can go to Sam's and get like a big box of mac and cheese or something, When I talked to these high schoolers last week, one of them said, like, I haven't even eaten today. I just had a Red Bull. And I was like, okay, I mean, I remember being in high school, I didn't eat either. I had like a Snickers every day. But it's the little siblings that are going to be most affected, right? Because little kids need food, right? And so I think there's like so many other conversations happening, but I think we can really think about the ways that we can maybe make an impact or help folks out. I think I'm gonna buy some mashed potatoes and ramen, and some canned food, but I mean, it's all very expensive. But if you have a little bit of privilege, if you have between $20 to $50 extra that aren't taken for bills or your own personal needs, please think about putting that into your community. I know the friend that we had come to Art Space, he's got he's the fifth, but he's got 5 brothers all together, and the dad can't work, and he told me that his food stamps were cut. But I think hygiene as well, because money is going to be, people are going to have to make choices between certain things, right? And food is going to come first. Food and water have to come first. So there are going to be other things that people aren't going to have access to. I'm thinking about maybe even giving out some of those first aid kits that I put together. I've been preparing for the shop, but I think that there are some things that I'm willing to also give away. I'm a little hesitant about giving I don't know, because I have like some medicine in the first aid kits, like pills, like Benadryl and like Tylenol. Um, I don't know if that would be appropriate to give kids, like high schoolers, or not. Um, so I'm thinking about that. I think I have some more of those, the first aid packet, or the first aid, like, little pouches. So maybe I'll just put together some with just some bandages or something. I don't know. Um, but I am really thinking about how, I need to preserve my mutual aid just because I am running out of money until taxes. If we get taxes, I don't know. I think people should also prepare for that. I know I'm preparing for that, but baby daddy's in denial that could be a possibility. Like, I think we need to um, have a very realistic take on if we're going to be getting taxes or not this coming year. You know, I don't think that we should put all of our eggs in the tax basket. But we did do that this year, and we had great success with that. So, I've been seeing this for a while. I've been seeing these things happen, and so I've been preparing like that. But I don't know. Think about ways that you can get involved, help out. I think Ziploc bags and just like divvying up some rice, right? So like 1 or 2 cups of rice, and then give like 1 or 2 water bottles. To make sure that those could be, I think we're going to be facing some really, really hard times. Be prepared for more people to be looting and in really desperate spaces. If you've never experienced that, it is not, it's so disheartening. It's not easy to witness or be a part of people struggling like that. Is very difficult for me because I would like to help everyone. So I think that we really need to be prepared for this, right? Regardless of what neighborhood you're in or what profession, you're going to be impacted by this. Not only in coming across people who are struggling, who are desperate, who are having to do certain things, go to certain lengths to provide food and, basic hygiene for their families and themselves, but also the way that stores are going to be impacted, the way that the militarization and privatization of goods is going to be more regulated. I don't think America is ready for that. Americans think that they are very free because of their choice of consumerism, but what we're going to be experiencing is not going to be freedom, and I think it's going to hit a lot of people. Um, and a lot of people who have never had to think about struggle, right? Think about whether you put food on the table or pay a bill, right? So, if this is something that you feel like you're going to be, I don't know about my audience base. I just know, we can do, if each of us do a little bit, we could make a change, or we could at least support a change. But I think we really need to brace ourselves for, I don't know, I feel like this government shutdown is, it's being used for the scapegoat of a lot of things. And I feel in my intuition that one of those things is a complete overhaul of the way that this government and country work. Again, if this administration decides to enact the Insurrection Act, which he's already made, like, the leeway to. I don't know a lot about it. I don't read the things because it's all a bunch of fucking jargon, in my opinion. They're gonna do what they want to do. It's like a paper thing. There has to be, like, a paper trail. It's the United States of whatever fake shit. But anyway, martial law is going to be the military regulating everything. It's going to be the militarization of everywhere, of everything. There's going to be checkpoints put in place, which there already are statewide. But that's it's going to be much larger. The prison apparatus is going to be much larger. So I think, as hard as that is to hear, I think that's the reality that a lot of people need to be prepared for. I think that all places need to prepare. So like I live in a community with only one grocery store for like a few thousand people, and I am preparing for that person that I told at the grocery pickup about what was going on. They told me that almost all customers who come to that grocery store use some sort of EBT or SNAP or WIC or some sort of assistance. So what is that going to do in a town with only one grocery store, right? What is that going to look like? So I took some measures to make sure that Niall has some of his safe food, but it's not going to last us for a year by any means. And of course that all depends on his mood, and we still have to buy the stuff that he will eat, like bacon and fruit and ice cream. Don't worry about it, we're autistic, okay? We have weird diets. But if you can go to the store and get some generic tampons and pads or toothbrushes or bandages or water bottles, whatever you feel like you can do. A case of water is what, $3, maybe $3 to $5. In the very least, if you could at least do that, maybe throw in one of the little packets of flavor, whatever that is, so that people can, I don't know. But we're going to be facing a lot they want people to die. I think that's another misconception, is that like the government wants your best interest. No, this government wants their best interests, and everyone else can fuck off. And I think we need to be very realistic about that as well. So I know these are hard things to think about and grapple with, and I think there's going to be plenty of people who are like, oh, it doesn't affect me, but it is. At one point or another, this will affect you. So if you're not going to be affected by, if you don't use EBT or SNAP, then at least try to give some things. But I would say, again, don't do it like next week and be like, I did my part. I think we need to prepare for the long haul on this. Recognize that if SNAP is not going to come back, that, through December, January, February, March, people are going to be very much in need. I think if you're someone who has access to getting baby formula, that's another thing. Or if you are a breastfeeding mother and you can pump a little extra, or you have a stock that you can share, that's going to be very important. I felt so fucking powerful when I had breast milk. I wish I had community around me that needed my milk, because I would have given. I do have some nursing mommy tea in my prep stuff, because I'm like, maybe I could get the glands to open up again. I don't know. I haven't tried. But it's something I have definitely thought about. So all of those things, again, start with what you've got at your house. Go through your pantry. If you guys aren't eating shit, if it's not expired, if you feel like you could, I did see someone who works at a food bank say that food banks need money more than they need food items, as far as donations go. So again, if you've got like $20 to $50 and you want to throw it at the food bank, do that. But she said that the money goes farther because food banks, with their status, can get things on discount and other stuff. So you get more bang for your buck when you give the money to the food bank, according to the person who worked at the food bank. If you're uncomfortable with that, like if you want to know exactly where your money went to, then go ahead, go to your grocery store, get some clearance items, and take it over to the food bank. Again, we have to do like a risk assessment and our own understanding of where we're at within our community, right? Go to Google, check out the demographics and the annual income in your area. check out things like that. Check out the maps for your area. See, if you don't know, where the poorer folks are, where, you could just maybe go walk down the street and hand stuff out. Whatever works for you. But this is going to be a time in which we're going to need to be coming together to support each other. So think about what that looks like for you and the way that you can do it. Okay? Have a good one.